Woo-wee, my friends, we are back. My goodness. And I'll tell you who else is back. Our good old friend, Sarah Boone. Woo! And as you see, for whatever reason, YouTube prompted me to set a super chat goal. Do not feel like you need to do that, but hey, it helps keep the channel going. Look at that. Cat OG said goal. Angie baby is right there. So if you have some jingle in your pocket, which is impossible in December, hey, help support the channel. True Crime Beat said YouTube is weird. Well, so is Sarah Boone. Imagine getting your ass handed to you by the judge. Imagine getting your ass handed to you. You were offered a plea deal, which would likely have you out of jail in, let's say, probably about 8 years. Probably about 8 years. That's probably about, that sounds about right. And you go through all the shit you did. Basically just creamed George's character, his family, you name it. And the judge goes, life. That's right, bitch, you got life. That's what happened. You got life. Hold on, what is this? Kat said, welcome, TDW, nice to meet you. Oh, was that girl again acting like she's new? Kat, what we need is a video to welcome new people. We have one for new members. We need one to welcome new people. If you are new here and have never been here before, let us know. And I have a feeling it's going to be our good friend, Jocelyn, the Walking Dead, that's going to hear it every day, just like Kimberly Mann with her happy birthday music. And who the hell was telling her happy birthday today? It was Karma Libra that threw me off. And I'm like, is it really her birthday? Hey, look, we have fun around here despite what we talk about. Oh, here we go again. Walking Dead, Cat OG, it's so nice to meet you. Don't get her going. I don't need her saying that she's new here. Shit. I mean, she's co-owner of the Discord now. Could you imagine? Now imagine having a co-owner of a big Discord that we have. We really do. And, to be told, don't touch anything. That's where I rank in this department. That's where I rank in this community. But hey, I love it and I love you all. Let's take a second and welcome everyone back and say, it's been a while and I've missed you. Remember, you can also say, kiss my ass. It's not a good day. It's Monday. And real quick before I get to it, got to welcome co-owner of the Discord, Kat. That means no one's getting away with shit. Now, here she is. No one's getting away with shit now. Kat, welcome.
Try it.
They can try it. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, she has been clipping at the heels for a while, saying, got rid of this one. We got to get rid of this one. It's kind of like, have you ever been in the Josh Duggar group that Gaelic runs?
And I can't go in there because Gaelic scares me. I'm joking.
Oh, no. The people in there scare me. Okay. The people in there scare me. Now, mind you, it says group by Crime Lines and Lies. So you see my name come in, it says Crime Lines and Lies. And they're like, we only listen to Deanie. That's her real name. And okay, I understand that they're following, cult mentality, but I didn't realize that they consider old Gaelic girl the leader of their cult. You go in there, if you don't listen, all you have to do is say, I know Gaelic, she's awesome. I put something in there the other day and someone wanted to know if Deanie approved it. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I just
Well, everyone's got to answer to the Grinch cat from now on in Discord for
Mhm.
it. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Now let's get to who's not going to have a Merry Christmas besides George, who, as we know, passed away and suffocated in a suitcase, but that would be Sella. Now let's just take a little sneak peek of some things that we have seen over the years with her. This is
All for this. I've got all day for it. Go on.
You've got all day.
All right. Cheers. I want you to sit back down because I don't want you to have one more sip of water. Yes, go.
That person on 29 residential audible 1303 Island Bay Drive.
I'll do what I can to get you a cup because I don't want you to have to keep doing that.
The statement should have the proper to cancel the indication for front door. Try to that 1325. The motor unit on the channel.
The cups are like right there.
44 and motor unit.
Right here. Don't talk to the ex-husband right
Oh,
now.
I won't.
Can I have a cigarette, please? Ma'am, I can't take anything out of the house. It's on the back porch. Nope. All of it. It's secure, okay? I'll try my best to get you what you need, okay? Maybe one of these deputies has a pack from someone, sit down and I'll try and get you what you need, okay?
Just cut, please.
Okay. I don't want you on your feet.
Yeah, get that police tape out of here. Go get me a cigarette. Get me pepper.
Yeah, this is when we really knew the problems were about to begin with her, right?
Get me a cup. They're on the back porch. She acts like she's checking into a hotel.
Uh-huh.
That's how.
The entitlement is real.
It's a wonder she didn't say, give me a ride to the Walgreens so I can get some wine.
Uh-huh.
So through this entire process, or as Don Wells says, process, through this whole process, she went through, 8 attorneys? Yeah, 8 attorneys, offered 2 different plea deals, and she still decided to keep saying that she is the smartest person in middle school. I believe she was the line leader in 4th grade.
She was the one that got to sharpen the pencils in the
Yes.
break. Like
She was
the milk monitor.
She was the one that watched the kids when the teacher went to the bathroom. Yeah, she's done it all. But what she really did was, according to the jury and the judge, is she killed George.
And it was accidental self-defense, according to her.
Accidental self-defense. Oh, look at this. Angel P, thank you so much for the super.
Yay.
So
hey,
we
Angel P's one went on the goal. Mine didn't.
Well, what the hell is going on? We got to do something about that. Yeah. So according to YouTube, we have 2 more to meet the goal. I don't make the rules, but hey. So go through the nastiness that Sarah said on the stand before she was sentenced. Am I the only person? I know I'm not. I shouldn't ask stupid questions. Whose jaw was on the ground when she was basically victim blaming her victim? I'm going to let Kat go.
Absolutely not. I mean, I was literally like, I'm still picking my jaw up off the floor every single time I hear anything about her. But she spent the whole trial victimizing George. Not only did she victimize him in the trial, she victimized him while he was alive as well, because she tried to make out like she was the battered spouse and all of this kind of stuff. And through every bit of evidence that the jury showed, she was the perpetrator. She was the one perpetrating against him. And yet somehow this all came down to her being allowed to sit there and say this vile, disgusting stuff about him when he's not there to defend himself. It was crazy.
And his family has to sit there and listen to it.
She even tried to get a mistrial because his family got upset when they showed the video during her during the closing statements. They showed the video of her with him in the suitcase laughing at him, and the family had to leave the courtroom because they were so distressed. And she tried to claim a mistrial for it. Oh.
Well, I mean, the law is the law. And, you know, the thing is, there's a lot of things attorneys can do in order to pursue the truth and convince the jury that something they have never seen happened. If you think about that, we see stupid people all the time, and the internet has showed us how stupid people are.
Mhm.
So you have to imagine being a prosecuting attorney and convincing people that this actually happened. And some of these people they're dumb as hell, okay? You have to convince them. Here's the science. They could have flunked out of science classes. They're not understanding what they're talking about. They don't follow true crime. They can't have a bias in the first
Mhm.
place. Heavily
Mhm.
looked at. And so to go through all this, and I saw that trial cost taxpayers of Florida, like Rexy, like True Crime Beat, $3.2 million.
Yeah. And she even says it's the most expensive discovery in history or something during this statement. Yeah, because she kept it going for 4 years because she kept not getting on with people and not getting on with her attorneys and not getting on with the rules and the regulations that are there for everybody. But, somehow she's above all of that. She wants, special privileges like Pop-Tarts in the courtroom.
Mhm.
The reason why it was so expensive because of her.
Absolutely. Look,
She's proud of that.
B. Oakley said, "Florida taxpayer here." You bet.
Well, good for
You
you.
bet. Oh, you bet. So let's listen to some of what Sarah said,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to pause it so we can get through it because it will make you ill.
Again.
For kicking them off of the bed and throwing across the room because they were trying to protect me. For threatening to.
Okay, I'm stopping it right there. So how come there was no testimony from anyone that was a human body shield trying to keep George away from Sarah?
She even said, like, George would go round and assault the neighbours because they were trying to protect her. Well, none of the neighbours came in and said, yeah, I had to stand in front of George on many occasions and protect her. Not one person came forward to say it because it never happened. But she's a liar.
That'd be the first thing as a defense attorney I would want.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to have the people that were calling her to make sure if she was alive.
Yeah.
I would want the people that, like I said, were a human body shield to make sure he wouldn't do anything, or the people that watched it and didn't call 911.
Right. And I think it speaks volumes that they could not find a single person to come into the court and say, yes, apart from the woman who was, bless her, she was quite elderly, the lady that they brought in, didn't really know how to answer the questions. Not one single neighbour that she claims protected her or witnessed this, not one single one of them could come to the court and testify to that fact. And that, in my mind, didn't happen. Or they knew that she was the perpetrator and they couldn't find anyone that would say that she was the victim. Because the only person that thinks she was a victim is her.
Like our friend here, Diva, DQK, said no one vouched for her.
Mm-hmm.
No one said no. I saw her get the tar beat out of her every fucking day.
Right.
And she's a battered woman. They couldn't do it. No.
The only people they could find to speak for her were people that she'd either met while she was in jail or was pen pals with while she was in jail. There was not one single person from before she went to jail that could come in and testify to her character. And that just about, to me, that summed it up.
I wish they would have brought in the property manager that said every time they saw her, she was, spitting, tripping, and everything, trying to get her ass to Walgreens to get more wine. That would have helped.
Yep. I think they might have brought in those people during the actual trial, but when it came to character witnesses and the sentencing, the only people they could find were people that she met post-jail rather than people that she met before she actually committed this crime.
And I hate to tell old girl, but there is another famous, way more famous than her, woman convict who was actually put to death in Florida that had people, I guess, somewhat vouch for her. Her name is Aileen Wuornos.
Okay.
And does anyone in here know who old Aileen Wuornos is? Look at the movie Monster. And everyone that vouched for her were people that she met when she found Jesus in. Same with Sarah.
Yeah, it's convenient that, isn't it?
Serial killer is what she was.
Make me unrecognizable to my son by breaking all of the bones in my face. Like his brother Moses.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Where is the medical evidence that he broke all the bones in her face? And judges across the country have spoken to Law and Crime. They have spoken to Court TV, other, I can't say reputable, but much bigger channels than me have said, I cannot believe that judge allowed that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if she'd had every bone broken in her face, she provided not one shred of evidence, medical evidence. She had 4 years to get that evidence. And even in the pre-trial motions, her lawyer was like, oh, we really need to get this, medical evidence. Like, how can we go about that? And the prosecution kept telling him, you go about it the same way everyone else goes about it. And you contact the whatever it's called to get that information. Like, why are they having to tell her lawyer how to get that information? She had 4 years and she provided nothing in the way of evidence. Even look at her face. Her face does not look like it's ever had a single bone broken in it.
No, you can tell when someone's had their nose broken. Look at old Owen Wilson. You can tell when someone has had some sort of like facial reconstruction.
Right.
Breaking the bones in my face. You can't tell me that pro bono or not, they couldn't dig up one medical record, because that would have changed everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as during the evidence when she was presenting, or they were presenting the photos of her, in inverted commas, photos of her with the, looks like it's been drawn on with a Sharpie black eye. Even then, there wasn't a photo of her with all of the bones in her face broken. So why didn't she take a photo of herself with all the bones in her face broken when she took a photo of the underneath of her arm that had a tiny little bruise on it?
I'd damn sure go to trial and make sure I had a picture of
You make sure of all the things that you had a photo of, all of the bones in your face being broken would be one of them, would it not?
Yeah. And I don't think anyone can heal from that. What is she? Is she Candace Wells? I mean, Candace Wells has had everything from broken foot, broken ribs, pacemaker. Here's the black eye, my friends.
Oh, that is fake. I'm sorry, but I'm calling it fake. It's fake.
I have looked at so many comments from, people. This one lady, she's like, okay, I have been a registered nurse for 44 years, and I can tell you that's a Sharpie.
Yep. Yeah, and if that was the supposed moment when he broke all the bones in her face, then why is it only her eye that is black? There's not a bruise, there's not puffiness, there's no swelling, there's no... there's nothing apart from a black ring around her eye that I could do right now with some eyeliner and a camera. Honestly, that's fake.
I see a mole and a little bit of rosacea on her cheek. Okay, that's all I see. All right, well, I'm not.
Rosacea could just be from alcohol, My cheeks are a little bit red after the Bailey's coffee I've just had, but no one's broke my face.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, get your Sharpie and we'll say, George did something to you.
Oh, please.
Moses did to him after he kept seeing all of the bruises from George beating me, like all of the times their father beat their mother. For all of the drunken rages and fist fights with so many neighbors when wandering into their apartments during hunting expeditions after I had escaped.
Where are the neighbors?
For drowning me in liquor and wine because I didn't want to drink, causing me to urinate on myself.
You pissed yourself because you were a pisshead. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. You drank too much and you pissed yourself. It's not George's fault. He didn't pour it down your throat. You chose to drink it. Just accept responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where are the zip ties in the funnel to pour this alcohol down her throat?
Because I didn't want to drink.
Yeah. Because
someone should have drowned her in liquor.
Yeah. No one's ever going to accuse me of not wanting to drink. That's ridiculous.
Right. And you're certainly not going to say it yourself. Because like
Good.
you say, unless someone's got you hogtied and is actually physically pouring it down your throat, you're partaking in an activity of your own volition, not because someone forced you to.
That's what I'm talking about. YouTube just sent me something. We have 2 minutes and 35 seconds to get 2 more super chats. So if anyone's got $1 or whatever you want to do, I don't know what this means. I don't know why they're doing it, but I got to figure it out. So this is ridiculous.
then butting the end of the bottle in my face, giving me 2 black eyes and a bloody nose. For making me experience what it is to be sodomized.
Oh, please.
Oh, good Lord. Is this a steak and baked potato story again where he said, I'm going to F you on that steak? All because she asked if he wanted more sour cream.
Do you know what is so offensive about these statements is the way that she's saying it? Because if she truly was, unfortunately, sodomized as she said, she would not be putting it in terms of making me experience what it's like to be S-amized, right? She would say, he est me. That's what she would say. None of this making me experience what it was like to be. It's not a fucking storybook you're writing. She's not telling the truth. I'm sorry. I don't believe her.
She got sodomized because she wanted to. I
Right.
could just see her getting all drunk on the Walgreens wine saying, want to do it up my butt?
Mm-hmm. Making me experience. Get the fuck
Making
out
me
of here.
experience. Hey, 2 Boston moms. Woo!
Oh,
Okay, now
Chrissy's here too. I miss Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy.
I do too. Chrissy hadn't been feeling good. She's been sick. I've been
No.
thinking about her. It says, let's celebrate Chrissy's 3rd super chat on a live stream. Oh, DT driver, really?
Woo! Cheers, Greg.
Thank you, baby. I love you, Gregory.
Threatening to
At least
He's
no one
only
has to say that Greg made you know what it felt like.
no, he's doing this because this is his favorite show. He loves to talk about Sarah Boone. He loves it.
Me too.
This is his favorite. He was so hurt when she didn't defend herself.
to kill my friends and the neighbors when they checked on me to make sure I was alive and in one piece. For threatening to burn down our townhome and set my car on fire because I got a job. For holding me hostage on weekends my son was supposed to come over by keeping my keys around his neck, my phone in his crotch, and a butcher knife stuck in the middle of the table as a warning not to ask anything or try to leave. For stabbing me.
What did I hear? Okay, she got stabbed. He held a knife to her crotch.
No, I don't know. He put a knife in the middle of the kitchen table to stop her from leaving.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a knife laying on our kitchen counter. It's not going to stop me from leaving, but okay, go with your bad stuff.
In the leg and not letting me call 911 for an ambulance or seek help.
So he stabbed her in the leg, which, by the way, I'm not a medical professional, but that sounds like there's a lot of veins in the leg. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that he refused to let her call. That in itself is a crime. If you hold someone's phone from them as they're trying to call police, you don't just heal from a leg wound like that. Getting stabbed in the leg, and I'm saying, hey, don't try this at home, all right? Do not try this at home. Kat, I'm verklempt. You please explain.
Well, I mean, the way she's saying it now and the way she said it in trial is completely different. Because in the trial, she said he did take her to the hospital, but on the way to the hospital, he was telling her to make up a story to get him off the hook. So she ended up lying and saying, oh, we were just messing around, which I think actually is closer to the truth. We were just sword fighting and he ended up stabbing me in the leg. But she says that was a made up story, but that he took her to the hospital. And now she's saying he refused to let her go to the hospital. Well, he took her to the hospital in a statement in court. So it can't be both, can it?
No, ma'am. And like Diva, DQK, would love for you to be a member, said she hadn't had a job in over 2 years, her
Right.
ex-husband, Brian.
Uh-huh.
But George didn't want her to go to work. I just don't know very many men out there that they're like, nah, I got all this shit. I got the house payment. I got the water. I got your spending. You just, you be a peg Bundy and you spend it all and you lay there and eat bonbons. Don't
Right.
worry about cleaning the house. Don't worry about anything. I got you, boo.
And in the meantime, I'm going to force you to drink all of the alcohol that your body can possibly contain because you don't want to drink. None of her shit makes sense.
No, Kimberly Mann said, in my opinion, she's the abuser.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. 100%. And you know what? Right at the beginning of the trial, I was thinking, or maybe it was two-sided. Maybe it was both from him to her, her to him. By the end of the trial, I'm 100% convinced she was the main perpetrator. After seeing the videos, you've got to be kidding me. She was the main perpetrator. If he did ever hit her, it was in retaliation for how she was treating him. She's got gaslighting nailed. It's
Oh,
horrible.
she does. Oh, she 100% does. And what really, really got me during the trial, because here's the thing. I would have, I'm not going to lie, I would have gone for it. I would have been like, okay, I see what you're saying. I got it. However, they had many, many, many years to prepare. Okay. And if it had come down to, we lost Kat, if it had come down to he had been beating her for years, they wouldn't have been going for second-degree murder. Where did Kat go?
Where I nearly bled to death until I concocted a lie to save him from being arrested. For destroying my phone with a hammer because my son called. For me experiencing ever being arrested and after today, prison. For beating me almost blind, crushing my occipital lobe. For having me experience what it means to see stars, like in the cartoons, where a character has a tall lump on their head. I had that too, and many times. For dragging me downstairs by my hair in the middle of the night just to sit next to him. For taking my car driving drunk with my debit card to buy more alcohol while I slept, even after I kindly explained the importance of my car to take my son to school foremost, me to work, and he to his batterer's intervention classes and probation officer meetings, where I would be forced to sit for hours in the parking lot waiting for him. For causing me so much trauma and pain, mentally, physically, emotionally, I had to be hospitalized more than once. For destroying my reputation and integrity, for my M for murderer scarlet letter, not letting me feel safe to live, talk to other people, spend time with my son, have a job, friendships, simply go to the bathroom with the door closed.
Oh, he wanted to watch you pee. Okay, let's
Good
go.
luck going to the bathroom with the door closed now, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find out what it's really like to not be able to go to the bathroom with the door closed. Piss in your cell.
Yeah. Now what you have is a stainless steel toilet that you have to sit on in front of your cellmate. You can't shower in private. You can't do anything. So now I can't wait for the next letter.
Oh, it won't be long.
And the thing is, had she taken the plea deal and gotten out, she could have written books. She really could have, because she really is well versed. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she probably would have needed a proofreader to make sure she was actually using some kind of punctuation somewhere along the line. But yeah, okay.
Now, she can't make money from this crime because that's against the law in most states, Florida being one. But she could have changed names.
Or go to sleep soundly or comfortably. I forgive George for lying, for him trying in so many ways, so many times, to end me with his terrifying love.
Oh, please.
I also forgive the
Well, now that's a title of a book, Terrifying Love.
End me with his terrifying love.
Wanted to end me with his terrifying love. Remember when O.J. Simpson, not my cat, OJ, but remember when OJ Simpson was going to publish that book, If I Had
If
Done,
I did, yeah.
If I Did It, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Well, names in there were changed, but and publishers were picking it up. They're like, oh, hell yeah, this'll sell like hotcakes.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, they didn't go forward with it, probably because of the legalities about you
Mm-hmm.
can't profit from a crime.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't profit from an alleged crime either. Isn't it called son of Samson law or son of
It's
Sam law or something?
the son of Sam law, because he made, and it took a long time for other states to pick it up. Callie Dean said she was into the chaos of the relationship. She decided to stay with him. That's the question right there. And I'm not going to get into battered woman syndrome, because we do know that women and men stay with abusive partners. We know that they do. However, she's on the stand. She was offered a plea deal. 15 sounds a lot better than life to me.
Yeah. Especially as she would have only have probably done about 8 of them. Or 4, maybe.
After she's
Definitely not
already
life.
served almost 5.
As well,
So
what kind of, I don't want to go into the bad spouse thing either, really. But what annoys me is when she sat in her original interview saying, you know, we had a good day. Like, he hasn't touched me for ages. Like, he hasn't actually hit me, or he didn't touch me. I didn't touch him. And then her lawyer, this James Owens guy, gives her a book on battered spouse syndrome to read. And all of a sudden, she comes out with every single word in that book that George apparently did to her after reading the book. A little bit fake to me. It's just my opinion.
I have a feeling if we read that book, we're going to find out this testimony came from the book.
Yep, she plagiarized it. That wouldn't surprise me. She completely plagiarized the rest of it. So, yeah, she probably just wrote it straight word for word out of the book, to be honest. She doesn't connect with it. She never connect. This is what I was saying earlier about the way she said about the sodomizing thing. She doesn't, it's not personalized to her. She doesn't say, he did this to me. He said, he made me experience what it was like to be. Like, that's the kind of shit that you read in a book, not what actually happened to you. She's not telling it from her own perspective. She has no tears. She has no empathy. She has not a single grain of emotion on her face while she's saying the word that begins with an S that I don't even like saying. If you seriously had been through that and it was against your will, you would struggle to say that word. I promise you, you would struggle to say that word out loud. You're not going to sit there and be like, made me experience what it was like to be sodomized. Like, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't connect at all. And she completely alienated the jury, and she completely alienated the judge by this point in the proceedings. I'm not surprised she got life. I would have given her life as well. Shame couldn't give her death, but you know, that's just my opinion.
Top Cat 88 said, I am loving Cat's comment. Exactly. Walking Dead said, yes, Cat. Yes, Cat. 100% Cat. Let's have a round of applause for Cat. That's what I'm talking about. A little Bailey's will do you.
No,
I'm kidding.
A little big one.
A big one?
Okay. A little big one, yeah. A little big one. In a coffee, though.
And that I never stopped loving him in all of it and still. When I first came to jail, I put my mat under my bed and cried all day and all night for months, only falling asleep from being so exhausted with grief. I wrote him letters. I wrote his family and his daughters, apologizing for asking for their forgiveness. But due to fear that my life or sons would be jeopardized, I did not send. I am sorry. I cannot begin to fathom any of their grief and sadness. Please forgive me. Almost everything reminds me of him, seeing my stab wound especially every day especially. It truly reminds me that all I really did live through. George haunts me. He is everywhere. I believe because I do still love him, think of him, and miss his laugh the most. In my heart, I know he is with me and understands that this tragedy was not intentional. I hope
intentional.
everyone can, his family foremost. I didn't mean for this to happen. Please.
But you pled self-defense. So how did you not mean for it to happen? You can't have accidental self-defense. No one has actually got this through her stupid brain yet. There is not such a thing as as accidental self-defense. It's not a thing.
And this is as she's talking shit about him.
Uh-huh.
And he's not there to defend himself.
No.
Oh, TJQ 612 said drinking chocolate Baileys now. Woo!
Mm-hmm. I've got everyone on it.
We heard not intentional, not intentional, not intentional. And you know, the thing is, until I heard the forensics, I actually bought it. I mean, I really did. I think that I thought to myself, she went upstairs and she decided to take herself a slumber, forgot that he was in there. And the next day she had an oopsie moment. That's how I looked at it. And then when I heard the forensics, I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's how that worked. I think that she was super pissed at him. Yep. And he said, okay, all right. You know, you're in the suitcase now, buddy.
You know what, Brooks? I think that if she'd have stuck with the not intentional thing and she'd have gone with accident, like she accidentally and she forgot he was in there, I think she may have had a better chance than trying to claim during the trial that it was self-defense, because her reason for using self-defense was because her lawyer said to her there has to be like a mitigating factor, like why you needed to defend yourself. And she said he stuck 3 little fingers out of a hole in the suitcase, and that's why she started whacking it with a baseball bat. Now, how was that going to look better than saying she forgot he was in there and she went to bed? You just basically said that you didn't intentionally kill him, but you whacked him in a baseball bat with a baseball bat while he's trapped in a suitcase, and then you went to bed.
100%. And this is the same woman that said because he terrorized her so much she couldn't get a good night's sleep. But the night he died in the suitcase, she slept
like a baby.
Like a log. Couldn't wake up, didn't wake up until almost noon. She realized he was dead in the suitcase. And who does she call? Her ex, Brian. Brian's the one that says, call 911. You know why she called Brian? Because she still thinks Brian's going to do everything for her because he had been.
Yep. And if Brian had got there, she was hoping, in my opinion, she was hoping he'd say, don't worry about this. I'll take care of it. Look, I'll take the suitcase somewhere and we'll just forget about it. Like, Sarah is that delusional that she seriously thinks that people are going to do shit like that for her.
Yeah. Like I'll just unzip it and I'll just throw it out there for the gators and no one's ever going to George.
Right.
Everyone knows he's a messed up individual and you don't have to worry about it. You can go back to bed, sleep this one off, and I'll bring Luke over when he gets out of school. No.
Thank the Lord for Brian being who he is, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Top Cat said she slept for about 13 hours. Who the hell slept for 13 hours?
Exactly. Oh.
Now, I'm not going to lie. On Saturday, DT Driver said, let's go take a nap. And that was about like 3 in the afternoon. I woke up. We had some beans and cornbread going, even though I burnt the cornbread in the new air fryer. But anyway, I could scrape the top off. And I got something to eat, some cranberry juice, and I went back to bed. So, I mean, call me Brooks Boone, because, I mean, I did sleep about 15 hours Saturday to Sunday. I did.
Well,
but
to be fair, Greg woke up in his bed. He didn't wake up in a suitcase. So, you know, there's that.
Exactly. DT Driver was not left in a suitcase. Could you imagine getting his big old ass in there?
Oh. No.
Oh my God.
No offense, Greg.
I mean, no, he's not fat or anything, but my goodness, I couldn't imagine. No, this is what DT Driver was doing on Sunday. He our cat. Okay. So if you all missed it, I'm off topic, but you have to see this. Okay.
Oh, Greg's song.
Yeah. This is Greg singing to OJ.
He wants your food on the Sunday.
Oh, look at him. Oh, he's so excited. Hey, Daddy, getting here breakfast for him. Yeah, thank you so much. He was starving. Daddy, you're saving his life.
Yes.
She wants
I know.
food on a
Oh.
Sunday.
Well, look at what's coming. What's coming to the party now, Keith?
Oh, look at that.
Keith. Keith. Oh, Keith.
I have to get over here so we can see this. You have his vitamins?
Hmm?
Okay.
Keith.
Does my kitty understand what's going on? Okay, my kitty
Well,
understands.
he's mad because his water isn't done yet. We're doing it out of order.
Okay.
Water goes first.
Yeah. Linda made that rule.
Kitty wants some food on a Sunday.
So that's how
Well,
our
he ain't
life.
getting in no suitcase.
No.
Rick ain't being able to get in no suitcase.
No. And now OJ's going nuts, thinking that his daddy's home because he just heard the sound. Okay. So went off. But anyway.
Please wholeheartedly know that and always I would never.
He did.
You, George. Forgive me, Torres family. Forgive me, Judge Cranick.
For
No chance.
Planet, please forgive me.
the entire
I
planet.
graciously and humbly ask for forgiveness to be extended instead of judgment, for reconciliation and restoration for all of us to move forward. My apology is profuse and ceaseless. Allow me,
And
please.
meaningless.
Do you think that she might have, and I'm no medical professional, especially in the behavioral field, do you think she might have some, what's the word that people like to use, narcissistic tendencies? I want to
Oh, hell
apologize
yeah.
to the whole planet, as if little starving kids in Africa are worried about what happened with the suitcase crime.
Even both have the doctors that testified for the defense and the prosecution both said she had narcissistic tendencies. She's one of the most narcissistic people I think I've ever encountered in my life.
Well, and this is
Yeah, I
what
think-
another doctor has said about people that have narcissistic tendencies.
Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships.
Well, and we have to admit that, you know, when we, let's say, when we switch partners, we go a grade up. We don't go a grade down. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And when people go a grade down, it's always been my opinion, it's because this is someone I can control.
This is someone who I can get one over on, I can manipulate, I can be in control of, I can beat up, I can put in a suitcase, you know? Mm-hmm.
I can hit him with a bag of potatoes and call
Mhm.
him racist names. I can do all that. I can get mad when he doesn't have enough change. I can get mad about all those things, and what's he going to do about it?
Mm-hmm. Nothing. What can he do about it?
Wipe the blood off of my face and fix the cuts in my skin. I ask for
Where's the scars?
Yeah, the scars on her skin. She's not the one that was dead in a suitcase.
They did the whole body map when they put someone in jail. Look at tattoos,
Yep.
birthmarks, scars. None of that was mentioned. But she's been stabbed in the leg. That would make a scar.
Mm-hmm. Well, she
Then-
showed the scar of that. But
I
she
don't-
tried to say during the trial that the noise that the neighbours heard was actually the night before this incident where George had dragged her down the stairs by her hair. But she had not a mark on her body.
Who in the world would touch those lovely locks? How
Someone in
dare
prison's gonna, trust me.
touch those lovely locks? My goodness.
understanding and what really happened and for how long, for second chances, repentance and redemption, to advocate for all domestic violence survivors, to help them
please.
overcome, heal, and still hope, always, to make their voices heard, to confidently walk with all of their scars on the outside and the inside, to help them not ever become a casualty of domestic violence as so many others, to stop the abuse and maltreatment before it's too late. There is always hope, and you can survive. In my soft-spoken conclusion, I ask this. Would I be the darling mother, celebrated woman of the year, if it were I who died? How many daughters, mothers, sisters, aunts, grandmothers, nieces, and friends have been because they did? I am a survivor.
But you're also a perpetrator.
Learn to do good, seek justice, rebuke oppressors, defend the fatherless, plead for the widow.
Defend the fatherless.
I did not like when she said plead for the widow. She is not a widow.
Hell no. I didn't like when she said defend the fatherless either, because she took away those girls' father. She took away their father. He has daughters. He's got kids. She took away their father.
And as you know, Kat, because I mean, you've been here forever and a day since God was a boy on this channel. We know that when we see these cases all the way through, and we know, numbers dwindle because people aren't that, it depends on, what case it is. But suddenly what we've been thinking, our opinions or speculation, we see it in all the evidence, and it comes out that, oh, hey, no, she's beyond crazy. She's evil.
Mm-hmm.
Drunk or not.
She's the only one that doesn't know it.
Most drunk people are fun to be around if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're not really an alcoholic, I guess, unless it's causing you massive issues in your life, The point where it's causing you issues is the point where you probably need to get help or treatment. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an issue. But for her, it was everyone else's fault except hers that this all went the way it did. And all she does in this statement really is just blame everybody else. Even though she's saying the words, I forgive, what she's actually doing is gaslighting people. Like, well, I forgive you for doing all this really bad stuff to me. And if you hadn't have done this to me and this to me and this to me and this to me, then I would have never have done that to you. It's not really an apology, and it's not really accepting responsibility for what you did do. This is not an apology. It's a second attempt at gaslighting everybody else, in my opinion, as only a narcissist would be able to do.
But those people that do real, I'm going to use a term by another creator that uses this word all the time. Someone that does fuck shit. And they have all kinds of reasons why they did. And even though they know they have done someone wrong, they point the finger someone else's way and say, like, they have no control of themselves. Well, you made me do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's gaslighting. Gaslighting 101.
Mm-hmm.
Making everybody else responsible for your behavior.
That'd be like me doing a show and going, Kat's the biggest piece of shit, bitch. Well, I'll give you bitch sometimes. This, and then Kat confronts me and I go, well, you did all this to me. So, I mean, I was right in doing that. That's what these people do. And Sarah, she wears the crown today.
Isaiah 1:17, all encompassing, protect the abused.
Well, you didn't protect the abused when you locked him in a suitcase,
Is that
did
the end
you?
of your written statement?
No.
Yes.
Now, gathering your thoughts, did you want to make an oral statement?
I do.
All right, would you do that now?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. She's so polite.
My verbal statement is primarily to the Torres family, to the judge, to his daughters. I know you all know who I really am, and that I did care for George, and that I do still love George. I know you know that we had very many good days, and I take offense to the statement of being said that this is just for a moment. Right now with me here in the courtroom in front of you all, this is just for a moment. But
She takes offence, like it's her business, like it's her position in this world to take offence at a victim's family she's been convicted of murdering one of their family members, and yet she takes offense. Fucking so.
The words out of my mouth. She calls herself a widow. She calls herself a survivor.
She even called herself God at one point because she said that social media has blasphemed her name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What a word. Did they give her a thesaurus in jail?
Oh, I think she went to the library and looked up a few words for sure. But she takes offense. I'm like, if that's not gaslighting, I want to know what is. You've been convicted of murdering their loved one, and you're going to sit there and say, I know you know who I really am. I know you know that I did love him, but I really take offense. Like, say less. Just say less. Seriously.
Who is she?
Uh-huh.
Who is she to say she's offended?
Oh, yeah. She's offended. What, are we all supposed to sit here and cry for you, Sarah?
In any sense of the word, and V. Oakley, exactly the words I was looking for. She said, look what you made me do.
Right. Yep.
I said this. I did this. I left you in the suitcase to suffocate because look what you made
me
do.
Yeah. That's her kind of narrative in life, really. She's done it in every situation in her whole life, and she thinks just another time when she can say, well, I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't have done this and this and this and stuck 3 fingers out of the suitcase. I wouldn't have done it, would I? Look what you made me do.
Let me tell you, in my uneducated opinion, the difference between someone who is truly apologetic and sorry and someone that just spitting. They never ask for forgiveness. Will you forgive me? You never ask. She never asks for forgiveness. It's always, I forgive you.
Well, I think she does, but she never. The difference for me is that she never says sorry and means it. Because if you say sorry and mean it, you change your behavior and you change your approach, and you try everything. If you're really truly sorry that you hurt somebody else, you're going to try everything to try to make it up to that person and make it. Maybe you can't make it better, but you understand that they're probably not ever going to forgive you, but you want them to know that no matter what happens for the rest of your life, you'll try and make it up to them. But she says, oh, forgive me, please just forgive me. I'm sorry that happened, but you know who I am, and it was kind of his fault. That's not an apology. You might as well just sit there and say fuck you, basically, instead of saying sorry, because her words are meaningless. She says a lot of words, but there's no meaning behind any of them.
Oh, she definitely, her middle finger works, because that's exactly what she gave the court and his family, and and especially his children. It's not, I pray for your forgiveness. There's nothing like that.
No.
It was, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive
and her
you.
forgiveness is gold, don't forget. Her forgiveness is the gold that runs between cracks in Japanese pottery. It means nothing. Nothing. It's hollow, empty, meaningless adjectives that she plagiarized from a book and tried to make sense. And it doesn't make sense because it doesn't mean anything. I would rather she just went up there and was like, look, I'm going to be completely brutally honest with you. George terrorized me. I put him in a suitcase and he's dead. Fuck you, and fuck you for trying to fuck my life up, and then go sat back down. She might as well have just said that. For all the good and all the meaning that was in her statement, in this whole statement that she made, she might as well have just said that and gone and sat back down, because it would have had the same effect. She still would have got a life sentence, but at least she would have said what she was really thinking.
Well, and Angel P said she can't handle not being in control either.
Tough shit. She's going to have to get used to it, because there ain't no people in the prison that are going to be like, oh, yes, Sarah, of course you feel very badly about what happened. Let's go and sit down and hold hands and sing a Karen Carpenter song and, jolly up the world. They're going to be doing none of that shit for her in prison. She's going to be sat on. She's going to be sat on, and yes, she probably will be dragged around by her hair, and she's going to have to get used to it.
I can see her, honestly, not to disagree, I can see her being more like a Betty Broderick. I can see her using her manipulation skills because she's done it her entire life to get what she wants. She's going to be the one that has all the letters coming in, and they're going to know that's someone that can't be messed with.
I think there's a possibility she'll become a cult leader in prison. If anything, she's going to try this whole, like, I am God, do not blaspheme my name. Come sit with me and I will save you from your sins, child.
She even said she forgives herself. What the hell?
She hasn't even accepted responsibility for herself yet, let alone forgive herself. She's crazy.
The moments before that, in order for me to be here, is endless. It's everlasting. The scars that I have on the inside, my outside scars have healed, except for my stab wound. But this has changed me as a person to see things differently and to understand things differently and to not be weak and just try to protect yourself. And forever, regardless of the time that I may receive from today, I forever will have this experience. I forever will have George Torres with me in my heart, in my mind, my body, and my soul. As he and I used to say that we were one soul split into two bodies. This is not just for a moment. It may be for everyone in this courtroom, but when I leave, this is forever. When you all leave, this is forever. This is
when you
forever.
killed their husband and their son and their father, that was forever, Sarah. It's not about you. It's about them. Still haven't heard the word sorry from her yet.
No. I haven't heard her plead to the family, please forgive me. Now, she did give kind of a half-hearted sorry to the judge. Nothing she can say is going to convince him, as we know. But wait till we get to how much she has learned in the pen.
Okay.
To when she wrote the letter.
For everyone here and those who it matters to most. I am one of those who will experience this forever. I'm sorry.
Oh, she said it.
Words do not define my shame.
Okay, so there's a lot of my's and me's in that sentence.
She said the word sorry once. I'm sorry. Words do not define my shame. Does it mean anything? Do you really get the impression that she's actually trying to come across like she's deeply, truly, heartfeltly sorry for them? All she's talking about is herself. For me, this is forever. This will define me forever. He was my soul. Like, she's talking to the family of the man. Like, primarily, she's talking to the family of the man that she ended his life. If I was them, I'd be sat there with two fingers up at her the whole time she was speaking. For real, because it doesn't mean anything.
And such a good point from Kimberly Mann. Where was her family to speak on her behalf? All I saw was jailhouse chaplains, no one from her family.
Well, she's only got her brother who lives abroad and then her brother who's in prison or been in prison for such heinous crimes that he didn't even want to be recognised by turning up to the court because he's on some kind of, not witness protection, but like some kind of thing where he stalked a woman for so long that he can't really go and give evidence because he doesn't want anyone to know where he is, what he's up to. So he couldn't go in. They had to wait for the psychiatrist to speak to him about their childhood experiences and all of that shit. But he didn't actually go in. And her parents, I don't think, are alive either anymore. So she doesn't have anyone in her family to speak for her. And Brian wasn't going to speak for her.
Which tells me a lot about a person that has no one, that they would just keep shitting on people.
No friends, no family. Like, the only people that could go in and give character witnesses for her were people that she'd met during the last 4 years while she's been in jail or written to, whatever. But no one, her brother could not go to that courtroom primarily because of the charges and the convictions that he's got in the past, which means he did not want his face all over the newspapers while he went and testified for her. And Brian's obviously not going to. The saddest thing was that Lucas didn't, but then I can't really say I blame him, to be honest. She's caused him nothing but grief, that kid.
And I think it's before the murder. It's not alleged. It's what she was found guilty of.
Mhm.
And after. That's the
Mhm.
reason they moved to a whole different town. Imagine what her son was going through with people going, hold on, your mom's putting people in suitcases?
Yeah. Well, as well, she was calling from the jail. She was calling to speak to Brian, and Lucas was answering the phone, and she was being rude to him. And then he would hang up, and she would go and complain to the prison staff or the jail staff, whatever, about how badly she was being treated by her own son. And all of this has been published in the letter, in the jailhouse behaviour records that they've released about how he's responded to her while she's been in jail, and about how the family court staff, she's writing about how badly she's been treated by her own son. And I'm not surprised he doesn't want to go stand up there and tell the court that, yeah, my mum's a really great person. He wants nothing to do with her. I don't blame him, to be honest.
I don't blame either of them, because I think she was trying to set Brian up for something.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it, doesn't it? Certainly
Sounds
seems that way.
You got a dead person in your house. You don't call an ex. You call the police. That tells me how bottom of the barrel she is. That's the only person she could reach out to.
Yeah.
No one. And she didn't have the nerve to call 911 because she didn't remember what happened. She didn't know about the video.
Thank God for that video.
I don't know what else it is that I can say and convey to the Torres family how this happened. The ifs and whys and how really don't matter. It happened, and I'm sorry.
Oh, so sorry again. It's the second time.
Okay, so this is some bullshit right here, and I've heard this before in my life. The ifs and whys don't matter, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You hear people saying, well, it did happen. Well, then what are you going to do for what you've done?
Exactly.
You can't bring anyone back from the dead. You're not Jesus, even though you think you are. I mean, to her, this is like a nonchalant thing.
Yeah. Yeah, in England, we'd say, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Do you want to go get a cup of tea? Like it's that much emotion behind what she's saying. It's just like, yeah, whatever, get over it. You know, I am sorry. It did happen. But yeah, you know what? Let's go get a cup of tea. Like it's, you know, we're hanging out the laundry right now, or something really fucking banal. I would be in bits if I was his family in this courtroom right now. I would be so angry with her for this non-apology, self-centered, self-righteous sermon that she's attempting to give from her pulpit right now. Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Oh, it is. But it did happen. Well, there's no it. He's a human being that you put in a suitcase as, let's just say, a joke, because it's not hide and seek. Hide and seek, you know you got to find where the person is. Had he zipped himself up and she didn't know where he was, that's one thing. But she put him in there, admittedly. Her biggest mistake was ever opening that damn flap of hers. Mama, I have missed you. Love you, girlfriend. Thank you so much for the super sticker. But to say it happened. I mean, I heard this from someone a few months ago. And I'm like, well, had I listened, none of this would have happened. It has nothing to do with the crime or anything. And I was told, well, unfortunately, it did.
Words cannot describe. And I hope that everyone can forgive me, the Torres family most of all, and his daughters, because I know what he meant to them. And I don't think that anybody ever understood what he meant to me and I to him. And I ask for forgiveness.
There you go. She asked for forgiveness.
Then I have just one or two.
She finally asked for forgiveness.
It seems a little half-hearted to me, but you know, she did.
Absolutely. It's the most nonchalant thing when I ask for forgiveness. Like, I'm not begging you. I'm not going to actually like sit here and be like, I'm really sorry. Will you please forgive me? I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to be like, I ask you forgiveness. If you don't give it to me, it's whatever.
Well, let's just see. Let's just see if she really wants forgiveness. This is when Judge Michael Kranick.
I would have given anything to be true crime beat in this courtroom right now.
Oh, true crime beat. I tell you what. Ooh, she probably had to go have a vegan daiquiri afterwards. I guarantee she was on pins and needles. So this is when he's just like, I've had it. This is what I'm doing. And then we're going to get to what she's up to now. I promise. Don't go anywhere.
See everybody nodding their heads. Okay. State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
You enter.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury? All right, members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the state of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information.
And there it is. It didn't take them long. Again, thank you so much, Mama She. And when that judge listened to her BS and came out and said, life. But this is how much she has learned. Okay? Y'all get ready. I love that. I love that color.
Shocking letter convicted killer Sarah Boone hand wrote to the Honorable Michael Kranick. She blatantly disrespects him, writing in part, quote, I was hoping to have been graced with your forgiveness.
I was hoping to have been graced with your forgiveness, understanding. You didn't do anything to him. He's doing his job, you idiot. And consideration in any level or degree. For me, unfortunately, and regardless of whom I had speak on my behalf, or the number of your ignorant mind was already made up. Who said? Who said it was already made up? What the judge does is he looks at what the jury said, which is guilty of second degree murder. He looks at the law. He's not going to let someone convicted of second degree murder looking at the heinousness of the crime and say, time served, bye.
Yeah, well, exactly that. And you know what? They were in that sentencing. They were trying to get her put into like a psych unit for a couple of days. Like they were totally angling at, she's amenable to mental health treatment, Judge. You know, maybe a hospital would be a better setting. She wouldn't have to spend long in there. She'd just have to, you know, just until she's feeling a bit better. And the judge was like, nah, it's life in prison, mate. Like, deal with that shit. Like, you're spending a couple of days in a psychiatric hospital. Get over yourself. Like, they were
Yeah,
seriously that deluded that they thought that she's going to get off with a couple of days in a on a psych hold. What the hell?
exactly.
And you know what, as well? If she seriously wanted the judge to show her any leniency and she was desperate to change the judge's mind, her lawyer would have said to her before she went in there, this way he told her to edit her statement. You need to take these bits of the statement out because you need to get on the judge's good side. You need to show the judge that you're a different person. And what did she do? She sat there going, and I forgive the Torres family for all of the stuff they did to me. And I forgive George for all of the stuff he did to me, even though he did some really, really bad stuff to me. And I forgive you, Judge, for like having an opinion about what I did. Like, that's totally out of order, by the way. And like, yeah, I totally forgive the whole planet. Now show me some leniency.
Yeah, I forgive the whole planet. Okay, I'm sorry to the whole planet, is what she said. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry is basically a reflection of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying, I'm a sorry ass person.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to change my ways, and I'm going to literally be a completely different person. I'm not going to sit here and be exactly the same person that I was 4 years ago and then expect you to treat me any differently than I was treated 4 years ago.
But in my uneducated mind, I'm telling you right now, what's going on here is she's stewing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's sitting in that jail cell and she's going, oh, she's pissed.
Oh, she's pissed.
She gave it the best college try, not that she's ever been to college, and she really thought somebody would listen to her, because if she's talking, someone's listening. And to say, I was hoping to have been graced with your forgiveness, understanding, and consideration in any level or degree. For me, unfortunately, again, her. And regardless of whom I had speak on my behalf or the number of your ignorant mind was already made up. Now, that's pretty damn ballsy, if you ask me.
Forgiveness, understanding, and consideration in any level or degree. For me, unfortunately, and regardless of when I had, when I spoke on my behalf or the number of, your ignorant mind was already made up. She goes on to say, by your clear error and full-blown unfair bias against me, since your involvement in my crucible case as a whole, I've been unsuccessful in receiving anything from you as a supposed fair and neutral judge, except for your wish that I spend the rest of my life in prison. Please know and always remember, Mr. Kranick, I forgive you. Boone ends the letter by writing, quote, I am not a murderer, I am a survivor. Now, I said 28 pages. There was
28 pages. Okay, I'm being a Google lawyer right now, okay?
Okay.
It flat out says penalties for second-degree murder in Florida, fine to $10,000, okay? And the minimum is 25 years, and the maximum is life, and that's what he gave her.
Mm-hmm. You can tell that she's pissed because no more of this. Forgive me, Judge Kranick. Now it's like, you are like the most ignorant person I've ever met in my whole life. And how dare you come at my crucible case and sentence me to life in prison? Like, Judge, I've had enough of you, but always know I forgive you. She's so ghetto. It's unreal.
Well, she's so stupid. She is so stupid because she's appealing this verdict. She's appealing his judgment.
She also called his courtroom corrupt. She called him corrupt in that letter as well.
Exactly. And the appellate judge is going to read this because it's a court document now. It was filed by the court clerk's office. It's part of her case number. And you're going to see she has no remorse for what she's done.
You can't have remorse for something unless you take responsibility for your action. And she has done no responsibility taking. This is all everybody else's fault. Still. Which means her apology means nothing, because all her apology did was say, I apologize for what you made me do. Not, I did this and I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I accept my part in this whole thing and I will work to be a better person for the rest of my life. It was, I'm sorry you made me do that. I'm sorry, but you still made me do it. So it doesn't mean anything. And the appellate court is going to see straight through it.
That's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Because every time she writes a letter, they see it. And this is her handwriting. This is her case number. If it wasn't her, if somebody was spoofing her, like people say that all the time, they're like, oh, I got hacked. I got spoofed.
Yeah, right.
I was using my avatar. It doesn't work that way in the jail. No way.
Oh, no, she could say that she didn't want to write a letter, but somebody forced her to write the letter, though, because that would be her next, I didn't want to write a letter, but someone actually forced me to write it the same way they forced me to drink and forced me to piss myself. Like,
just like George forced her to walk to Walgreens and get his wine every day.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there, and we have a very special guest joining us to unpack it and react to this horrific note. Retired Judge Larry Seidlin on the show. Judge, good morning. Wonderful to have you back on Opening Statements. May I start with your
Good morning,
thoughts?
Julie. I'm retired as a judge, but I'm working hard.
We know you are. We know you are. And I know many.
This guy is straight up New Yorker, even though he retired in Florida. I mean, just his mannerisms, his, dialect. I mean, oh yeah, he's ready to rock and roll. And I mean, had she been in his courtroom, I'm telling you, she would not have got to sit there until that she, forgives herself and she's sorry to the planet.
Yeah. I do think the reason why Judge Cranick let her get away with that was purely for the appellate issue. It was so that the appellate court has got everything that she said on record. So they can't sit there and say she was silenced during her testimony. She was silenced during her sentencing. She was not silenced at all. But that's only going to go against her because no sane appellate court in the whole entire United States is going to sit there and go, oh, look, show us some sympathy. She did say the word sorry twice. They're going to look at the whole thing and be like, now this woman, she's still victim blaming the guy that she ended his life. So let's not give her an appeal. Let's just go, yeah, motion denied. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
She told on herself. She outed herself with every word she said. She outed who she was as a person. And that's what the appellate court are going to see. And that's why I believe they didn't silence her at all and didn't stop her from talking during her sentencing.
In my opinion, Cranick dotted every I and crossed every T.
Every single day of the trial, every step along the way, he has been on top of any appellate issues, in my opinion.
Oh, in my opinion, because when they would have a break, he would ask her every time, are you satisfied with your representation? Oh, absolutely. Because the number one thing that people that are sent down the river always say is they didn't have competent legal representation. But this is her own mouth saying, oh yeah, I'm great with them. They're great.
Just on that point, just because I'm interested to know, because obviously James Owens can't represent her now as her lawyer in the appellate court because he's come out and said he's not an appellate lawyer and he's not going to be representing her from the point where he filed the appeal onwards. So they have to get someone to represent her, a public defender, I guess, or like an appellate defender, whatever. But is that going to be possible? Because she's annoyed so many lawyers and sacked so many lawyers so far. Is anyone going to want to represent her as an appellate lawyer? They
have no choice because it's a totally different court. So we're not
so it
looking
starts from fresh. It starts afresh.
No, it doesn't start from fresh because she said plenty of shit and she's been convicted. So when it gets to the appellate, now she's going to be the one that wants to take it to the Supreme Court. Okay.
Supreme Court's not going to hear it. Come on.
She will be the one that would want to do that. And she's going to have to find somebody that would really want to go there. I don't ever see that happening. I've been wrong before.
So the appellate defender, would that be a public appellate defender or would she have to pay private?
But I mean, people get appeals. I mean, I think, is it tomorrow or Wednesday in Oklahoma? We have a man that's going to be put to death. Okay. And he had a public defender.
Mhm.
We know that he killed that little girl.
Mm.
He's gone through the appellate court. He petitioned, or he didn't, but his attorneys petitioned the Supreme Court. They sent it back to the state of Oklahoma. So we're waiting on Governor Stitt to either give him clemency, which just means he's going to stay in jail.
Mhm.
He's not getting out.
Yeah,
Or
so instead of death, it would be
go
life.
ahead and sign for death. So the people in McAllister, whoo, they are ready because they love that shit. They are ready for the protesters to come down there and say, only God takes life, that type of thing. And so, yeah, she's lucky it wasn't first degree murder, because she would have gotten the death penalty.
I guess what I'm asking is, how do you think she's going to get on with an appellate lawyer, considering how she got on with her public defender lawyers and everything in the past? How do you think how far do you think an appellate lawyer is going to represent her? So Diva just said they already assigned her appeals lawyer, but he's already withdrawn from her appeal. And that's kind of what I'm asking. Do you think there's going to be an appellate lawyer that's going to actually stick with her?
Well, they have to, unless she fires them, and it's their caseload. Hell, maybe she get a hold of Kim Kardashian and the Innocence Project.
I don't know. I just can't see anyone like being satisfactory to her. I just can't see there ever being anybody that's satisfactory to her that will take it as far as she wants to take it. I think they're all going to say, you know what, you're fucking delusional. There is no chance.
Not if she doesn't get her way. The only thing they can do, in the appellate court, from what I know, and I am not an attorney, okay, is what they have to do is they have to nitpick the first trial. They'll have to say, this evidence wasn't put in. This evidence wasn't put in. But when they see she had 8 attorneys that said, no bueno, and that she had 2 different judges, it's not going to get that far. And her own statements in her own written word, she might as well just get ready and find her job in the prison, like making shoes. If laundry.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, they will definitely assign someone to her, but they have to really have great belief. And there are attorneys out there that really believe in their client. Hopefully all do, but I mean, some are real zealous, and they'll say, no, this is not wrong. I mean, the reason we have Miranda rights is because of an attorney, I believe it was in Arizona, that this man did not know his rights after being arrested. So now when someone's taken into custody, they have to be read the Miranda.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are some that will take it all the way to the
She better hope that she gets someone assigned to her like that then, because if they're assigning someone to her, she gets somebody that's just like, yeah, no, we're not going to the Supreme Court, and she's not happy about it, then she's going to sit in prison even longer trying to figure out an appeal strategy, because she won't have anyone to represent her. She's her own worst enemy in that respect.
Let me put it this way. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an electrician. So let's just say I'm going to put up a ceiling fan, and I get my ass shocked off the damn stepladder. Well, guess what? That's my own fucking fault.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing. But with old Sawa, she thinks
she's the smartest person in the room.
She does. She thinks she is, honestly, the only aiding she can do is to shut her big flat.
Say less. Honestly, she should say less.
Don't speak, but she will get her appeals. I think, well, she's not on death row, so I'd have to ask True Crime Beat. Unless you're on death row, how many do you get in Florida? And I don't have time to Google it, True Crime Beat. I know in Oklahoma, I think it's 4 for appeals, because I mean, they're at that point they're saving someone's life, because there's always some head petter that's going to go, but what if there's a chance I didn't do it? What if there's a chance I didn't do it? Okay, look, we know she did.
Mm-hmm.
We know she did. So
The only thing they could fault the judge on would be if there was a miscarriage of some kind of thing that he did completely wrong during the trial, that they were like, yeah, no, the case law and that's quite clear, you can't do that. But he seems to have dotted every I and crossed every T. So although she will get an appeal because it's her right to appeal, they've got to find something to appeal on.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I just Googled it and I put in Murfer, Murfer. All right, and I'm not even drinking. It's called the Law Offices of Jason T. Foreman, second-degree murder conviction vacated on appeal, because the client was sentenced to life in prison and the client filed an appeal seeking a new trial based on defective jury instructions. Hey, call them up. Call them up, Sarah. Call them up. Just don't talk. Just don't friggin' talk.
Hard as a lawyer, I represent a lot of, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Judge. We have a little bit of a delay, so I want to tell everybody if it sounds a little bit off. That's why, just the technology. And so many people remember you presiding over the Anna Nicole Simpson case. So you rose to fame and you've been beloved by so many across the country ever since. Could we talk a little bit about Ms. Sarah Boone in Florida? What are your thoughts on this letter and how she blames and disrespects the judge?
Well, she writes this 28-page letter. You remember Shakespeare's Hamlet with Ophelia giving all these soliloquies. This woman is a full-fledged nut. The judge is not going to read the whole 28 pages because as a judge, you don't.
He got that right.
I muted myself.
How many pages do you reckon he read before he realized he was a full-fledged nut?
Full-fledged nut. Let me ask you something. I'm going to try to put ourselves in Judge Kranick's shoes. Has anybody ever gotten like a text or an email from someone that just won't stop? And you get through a few sentences, you're like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And you reply, LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when judges who've already made their decision and know that they followed the law to the T, and they say, you got life. And this judge is like, she's a full-fledged nut.
It didn't take him a minute to work that one out, did it?
Yeah, I got to hear that again. Hang on. Sorry, I feel like I keep cutting you off, Kat. I don't mean to.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
This woman is a full-fledged nut. The judge is not going to read the whole 28 pages because as a judge, you don't want to absorb the mental pain of these people. You don't want to wear yourself out. You don't want to get tired. So you read a few pages and then you turn to the sports section or the news.
I love this guy.
Oh, I do too. Who the hell wants to sit there and read all that shit? 28 pages of someone talking shit about you?
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, I'm good. I've had people send me links going, you need to come see this. They're talking shit about you. No, I'm learning how to make a nutcracker out of toilet paper rolls if you don't fucking mind. You really think I'm going to go look at that?
And then you click on it and it's like 48 hours long and you're like, yeah, give me a timestamp or fuck off.
Like, you have to go look at this. This one's talking about you. This one's talking about you. And I'm like, okay, you know what? That's super. But I'm learning other things right now. I'm learning how to teach OJ how to use the shitter. I mean, come on. And like he said, and obviously we're on different parallels. I'm not a judge. Nobody's going to sit there and read that shit. You're going to get to the sports. Nobody wants to absorb that mental pain. You got to be crazy.
No.
Hell, Kat, it's happened to you before too with Trisha Jenkins. Did you? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's pure entertainment. I think this judge was just like, oh, you don't say. There's another letter from Sarah Boone. Cool. Can I have the like edited highlights or?
Yeah, just
He's sitting
highlight
there
where
reading
she
that.
really just highlight where she really calls me a piece of shit, and then just
Right.
write it to the clerk's office, scan it in,
And
and I'm done.
the
Because
funniest
whenever
thing is that Sarah is the only person that doesn't know that the judge won't read it. She thinks that everybody reads everything, and that judge has read every single word that she's written. And now the judge is sitting there feeling bad about himself because he dared not to grace her with anything less than a life sentence. She seriously sat there thinking, that made me feel so much better because he feels like a piece of shit now. Bitch, he didn't even read your letter. He didn't even open it. He just waited until they put it online. Then he said to his secretary, you know what, pull out a few funny phrases so I can go home and sleep good tonight. He don't care.
no, he made it. He sat there looking
Exactly.
at that dickhead haircut and listened to her and said,
Thank
okay.
you so much for your service, Judge Kranick. Thank you for your service. You're a legend.
I mean, I loved when he was like, okay, I'm only going to allot an hour of my time for this. Because he already had his sentence. It didn't matter what anyone said. Even if poor little Lucas had come out and said, spare my mama, it's not going to happen. He already made his mind up.
You know, I think even if there was a slight possibility that he was going to say anything less than life, it would be because she sat there and showed true understanding and contrition for her actions. And the fact that it wasn't even an ounce of that in her statement, he was like, nah, you know what? If you had have shown anything, I possibly would have moved. Maybe I would have given you like life minus 4 years and you'd be out in, I don't know, 64 years instead of 68 years. But right now you're spending the rest of your life in jail. Go away and think about what you've done. She didn't show an ounce of it.
In Florida, life is life. Like in Oklahoma, and there's other states, life is your natural life. That's why so many states getting confused and they go, now hold on, they said life. New York is a good example. For different crimes, they can say life. And life could be 15 years.
Right. In this country, life is 25 years. That's it. Unless you get a whole life term, which is the rest of your life. Like, life just means 25 years. But, like, ultimately, he did turn around and like, oh, yeah, so there's 4.8 years that or 4.5 years that you've already served. And it's like, yeah, but that ain't getting taken off your sentence, Sarah. You're still in there for the rest of your life. Like,
yeah. So enjoy. Enjoy your couple squirts of water and your sliver of soap and, you know, get on with it.
You don't want it. It's the ramblings of a nut, the musings of a mentally ill person. There's no way I'm reading those 28 pages unless it's a love letter from my daughter Dax. I'm not reading.
Oh, that's awesome, Judge. And I have another portion.
The way it really is.
Yeah. I've got another portion here. She says in the letter to His Honor, I'm no longer in your corrupt court. She calls it a corrupt court and free from your malevolent judicial grip. This judge was so professional, so kind. And we know Sarah Boone is difficult. I'm sure you have many difficult people who've been before you, Judge, throughout the years. What do you think, if anything, this judge should do in response to this?
fuck all. Go play golf.
Well, she went through 8 lawyers. And as a litigant, if you're a party in a lawsuit, civil, criminal, it shows instability when you go through more than 1 or 2. And I tell my clients that 1 or 2, if you're going through more than that, it shows you got some mental problems. I still find it difficult that
Okay, let's talk about that because you work in mental health services. That's all I'm going to say. So it's one thing, most people can get their thoughts out in a paragraph, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just like, you're a freaking mental case if you sit there and you write 28. Why did she save 28 pages to the judge that sent her away to life?
Yeah. 28 pages expressing her absolute disgust and horror at this corrupt system and the corrupt social media and all of the people. Don't forget, in this 28 pages, she included her entire sentencing statement, not just the bit that we heard when she was on the stand, because she was told to edit it. So she wrote the judge the whole statement, word for word, what she would have said if she was allowed to, and the fact that she was not allowed to express all of the things in his courtroom. That's why it took up 28 pages, because she needs to say less. First of all, she needs to learn how to use punctuation so that she's not using one whole sentence to say 10 million things that don't relate to each other. I think she writes the way she speaks in like some kind of stream of consciousness without any empathy, understanding, or acceptance of anything real in the world. She's delusional, completely delusional.
Well, she's damn sure delusional. Okay, we got that part. What really gets me is her lack of comprehension.
Yep.
So she finds George dead in the suitcase.
Yeah.
She calls Brian. Okay. Police show up, and this is what she does. Go through this.
All right. Here, I want you to sit back down because I don't want you to have one more sip of water, please.
Yes, go home. That first 29 residential audible 1303 Island Day Drive.
I'll do what I can to get you a cup because I don't want you to have to keep doing that.
The statement should have a proper to cancel the indication to the front door. Trace that 1325. The motor unit on the channel.
The cups are like right there.
044 motor.
Sit right here. Don't talk to the ex-husband right now. I won't. Can I have a cigarette, please? Ma'am, I can't take anything out of the house. It's on the back porch. Nope. All of it. It's secure, okay? I'll try my best to get you what you need, okay? Maybe one of these deputies has a pack from someone. Sit down and I'll try and get you what you need, okay?
Just cut, please.
Okay. I don't want you on your feet.
That's her comprehension. No tears, no panic, no, oh my God, what's going on? I just found him down here. And then she talks and talks and talks and talks. Now, present company excluded. Do you know anyone that just talks themselves into a corner and then they can't get out?
Thanks for the company excluded. That's very nice.
None of us. No.
She needs to say less. Like from day one, she needed to say less, but she never ever understood that. And even to the point where during the trial, she was like, they made me talk. They spoke to me without giving me the last line of my Miranda warning. Therefore, the whole thing is invalid. Like you just needed to say, I want a lawyer. That's all you needed to say.
That's the first thing you should say. Hey, you get pulled over, and I'm 100% this. I'm not saying anyone here is guilty of anything. You get pulled over for speeding or whatever. Don't say shit. Just get your ticket and get your ass down the road. Don't say, oh, God, I'm in such a hurry. Officer, you have to understand. I've got 4 kids. One has Girl Scouts. One has band practice. And, I had too much drink last night. And so I was, no, come on.
No, don't say anything. Just say less. Like if she'd have done that in the first place, she probably wouldn't even be in prison now. If she hadn't have made that video, and if she had said she wanted a lawyer right at the start, I've got a feeling that she would be out and she would be free because there would have been no way to prove what actually happened that night. But because she made the video, because she thought she was entitled to take the mickey out of a man that is dying in a suitcase, and because she spoke so freely and so openly and said all the things, she said all the things, and then tried to say that they forced her to talk. And they took her rights away by forcing her to talk. She never learnt. From day one, she never learnt. To the day where she got sentenced to life, she never learnt. And now she's saying all the things in a letter to the judge. She just doesn't stop. She's got no filter on her mouth, as Trisha Jenkins would say. Jesus, filled in my mouth. She's got no filter.
Got none. And I tell you what, I mean, that's going to be the interview of the century when I get Trisha on here.
Can't wait.
By the way, if you missed this morning's show about Summer Wells, please go check it out. If you're not a member, please become a member and look at all of our members' content. You guys will not be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Person can write an ex-parte letter to the judge without it first being looked at by the prosecutor. It should be also looked at the prosecutor, and the prosecutor and that party should then set it as a hearing in front of the court. The court can have a hearing or just deny the letter. The smartest thing to do for the judge is to go radio silent, to do nothing. You don't want to give her any credence, any credibility. So you just don't do anything. It's part of her DNA. When you read these letters by her, and when I heard her give a speech in the courtroom, she just pulls words out of the dictionary.
You said that.
Blow anyone's ears out. That's what I said. Did she get a thesaurus? He was like,
Yep.
she just pulls words out of the dictionary.
Right.
Just
Right. Can you imagine her just going to the library in the jail, just like, oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of writing this letter. I just need to go and look up in a dictionary 1,000 words that mean the same thing and put them all in a letter.
I love the end of the letter, protect the abused. The police do that, not the judge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the police are for. This is why I say all the time on here, and people are tired of hearing me say it. I had a comment saying that I was, basically being an asshole, but talking about 8th grade civics. They're like, no, not everyone knows it. Well, listen, you live in this country.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you know that the police, they can arrest, they can't charge. The prosecuting attorney does that. The judge
I've got a feeling even I could pass 8th grade civics in American studies, and I've never lived there.
Great members live. Can you pass 8th grade civics?
Yeah, that'll be trivia.
Yeah, that'd be great trivia. But on Monday, our members live, we're doing Christmas trivia. And as we go through, we're going to have gifts. Now, we know that Susan's going to get the sex toy. That happens every time.
Is it one of the Candace Wells delivery specials from Ernie?
Great. That was great.
She's a one-worder, and she looks for pretty fancy words in the dictionary, and she strings them together. If you put a light bulb in her mouth, it would light up. She's completely off the wall.
Judge, I think she ought to look up the word narcissist in the dictionary. Perhaps she'd find a definition that sounds familiar for herself. Then again, most of them never see themselves as what they are. Judge, this is sage advice that you're giving Judge Michael Kranick in this case, to just do nothing, sit back. You referenced that awful speech Sarah Boone gave. We have a clip. Let's play it now.
I forgive George for beating me senseless, for trying to sleep because I had to go to work or my son's field trip the next day, for ruining my deceased family's heirlooms, traditions, and keepsakes, for drowning me in liquor and wine because I didn't want to drink, causing me to urinate on myself, then butting the end of the bottle in my face, giving me 2 black eyes and a bloody nose, for making me experience what it is to be sodomized, threatening to kill my friends and the neighbors when they checked on me to make sure I was alive and in one piece.
Judge Seidlin, what did you think of that speech she gave at sentencing? Have you ever heard anything like that throughout your career, either as a lawyer or judge?
I was a bad boy. As a judge, I wouldn't let them just go like they're in London, in Hyde Park, giving these rambling.
Woo! He's calling you out like they're in London in Hyde Park. Do you do that in London, Kat? In Hyde Park? Do you just go, just going to talk about whatever?
So you say that, actually, interesting fact about Hyde Park. There's a speaker's corner in Hyde Park. It's called, it used to be called the Soapbox. So people can go to this area in Hyde Park in London and stand on the soapbox and deliver whatever speeches they want on whatever topic they want in the whole of the world. They can stand there for as long as they want and talk about a specific thing, whatever they want to talk about. And people go there to listen to them. And these people are nobodies. These people are like people like Sarah Boone that just wander into the park and stand on this soapbox and start delivering a friends, Romans, countrymen type of speech. And people gather around to listen to it. It's an actual thing. It's called Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park.
Well, obviously the judge has been there. He's like, I wouldn't let her keep in London at Hyde Park.
He knows what he's talking about.
Kimberly Mann, thank you for the super sticker. She said, thank you, Brooks. I pray Sarah sees that she is the convicted perpetrator, not the victim.
Never going to happen. It's a great idealistic thing that we'd want to happen, but it's never going to happen with her. But happy birthday, Kimberly.
Oh, yeah. Again. Sorry, I was laughing. I choked myself up by laughing. I shouldn't do that. That's horrible. That's the reason they wouldn't put me on Saturday Night Live, because I would break character too much. You know, and you're so right, Kimberly, because after the trial is done, there's no, I think, speculation, alleged, anything like that. She done it. A jury of her peers said guilty, second-degree murder. There you go. Then you have a judge say life. That's it. And I think Cranick, actually, I agree with you 100%, Kat. And I think I talked to True Crime Beat about this. I think he let her go through her, whatever you want to call it, her jailhouse poem, in order to not have the appellate court come back on him, because no judge wants the higher court to say, no, you had bad judgment. We're going to be talking about that later in the week. I'm going to get a hold of Susan. We're going to do a show, because they're really coming down hard on the judge that used bad judgment, letting Harmony go with Teardrop. And if you know, you know.
Speeches, I would have cut it short. I would have been a little bit more rude. I'm not letting a meatball take over my courtroom. There's no.
He called her a meatball. I'm not letting a meatball take over my courtroom.
No way I'm going to give her that kind of audience. And she had an opportunity to leave her boyfriend, and many opportunities. And I know she was also abused by this guy, but you get on a Greyhound bus and you go to a different town, you go somewhere else. There comes a point where you have to have the strength, the courage to make a move, and not stick him in a suitcase where he suffocates. I mean, it's bizarre. And unfortunately,
I want to hear Kat's accent do this. He goes, I mean, it's bizarre.
It's bizarre. I mean, it's bizarre.
Bizarre. Kimberly Mann said, audience. I got to call my husband. I mean, because he speaks like this sometimes, but he's from upstate. Oakley had meatballs last night. Well, I love when he said meatball. And I mean, I know what it means in New York, but I mean, her haircut looks like a meatball. Maria O'Sullivan, love you, girlfriend. I don't like Sarah, but she didn't say he broke the bones in her face. She said he threatened to make her unrecognizable. Well, she actually said, we went through it. She said he broke the bones in her face and he stabbed her in the leg.
She said during the trial that he threatened to break the bones in her face, but during her sentencing statement, she said he broke all of the bones in my face.
Yeah, she said that at sentencing. Sorry for the confusion.
I think the pandemic took a lot of these mentally weak individuals and even sent them further into the abyss. We're surrounded by a lot of mental weak people. So, like the play One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you can't allow the weak to destroy the strong. So the main character in that play, he says, "Why am I here?" And the response was, "You're here because of people like us. You can't allow the weak to destroy the strong. You got to stay strong. You got to exercise, eat good, and try to be mentally and physically healthy. It's a battle every day." And we.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Oz. We know that. Okay. Maria O'Sullivan said the black eye definitely looks fake, like a Sharpie marker. I agree. And if Maria O'Sullivan can hear, there was a difference between what she said in trial and what she said in sentencing. In trial, she said threatened. In sentencing, she said he broke the bones in her face. If you hit the replay, you'll see what was said. Chrissy
She also said that he broke a nerve or a bone in her eye. Well, he quite clearly didn't break the bone in her eye, because if he had, she wouldn't still be able to have an eye. Like, she wouldn't be able to see at all.
And that would definitely take a doctor to fix that optical bone.
Right.
And I'm not a doctor. Chrissy said in the Northeast, meatball is a really terrible insult.
Is it? I like that. I want to know more about that.
I learned it on that show, Jersey Shore. On MTV. You know, Jim Tan Laundry? Yeah, I learned it there. They were always calling each other meatballs. I thought they were making spaghetti.
Why am I here? And the response was, "You're here because of people like us. You can't allow the weak to destroy the strong. You got to stay strong. You got to exercise, eat good, and try to be mentally and physically healthy. It's a battle every day, and we all suffer through it. But we got to keep doing it. I mean, I got clients that are off the deep end sometimes. They can always call me. I try to bring them back into the rails."
Sure. No, I know you do. I know you are a tremendous lawyer and judge. Everybody fell in love with you, as I said, when you presided over Anna Nicole Smith's case. And we're so delighted to have you now on Court TV.
Oh, me too, because he just called her a meatball.
He called her a something nut. What was he said? An absolute nut.
A nut. She's a nut bag. People will put down a few sentences to get their thoughts out, but 28 pages, that's obsessive behavior. She now wants meatballs. Okay, I can't make them. Mine fall apart. I
don't
can't.
think I'll ever look at a meatball the same way again. Every time I see a meatball now, I'm going to think of Sarah Boone's face.
Well, and I try to trick my husband. He's from New York. Okay, so he knows a good meatball, and he knows different. And so I bought the frozen ones, and I put them with the spaghetti. And man, you would have thought I had fed him anthrax. He's like,
oh man,
meatballs. I'm like, picky, aren't we? I said it took me a long time to form those together perfectly perfect.
Get them out the freezer and put them in your spaghetti.
You notice every one of them look like a perfect golf ball? You think I didn't do that? Are you kidding me? I'm offended. That you think I didn't make them. And then he can't stop. He's like, well, I found the bag in the trash. I don't eat shit like that. That's preservatives. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Healthy. All right. When I make them, they don't turn out that way. But you all are not meatballs, and we have another big show tomorrow with another special guest. A show that I do not like doing. Not because I don't care about Sebastian, because I don't like the nonsense that comes with it. Okay? We have...
It's nothing to do with Sebastian, incidentally.
Yeah, it's very strange behavior. I mean, I never thought I would see Don Wells say, "Hold my beer," and someone grabbed it. Hold on. Kimberly Mann has a question. Do you boil, bake, or fry your balls? Well, normally they bounce off my chin. I can tell you right now, every time I do them, they just do not stay together. I've used eggs, crackers, you name it. Look at Kat. She's just like, what? What?
I don't think I've ever made a meatball in my life.
A meatball recipe so I can, because my husband knows when they're frozen. He knows when they come from Reese's. That's our grocery store. Let me know how you do it. How many eggs you use, cracker meal, all that stuff. Baby Kisses said stick to the ribs. Yes, I can do ribs. Yep. And I'm better at grilling. Sailor said, gonna wet myself, Brooks. Hey, that's what we're here for. We are talking about horrible, horrible things. We can still get through it together as friends. So I'm going to need all your help tomorrow because you know what's going to happen when I'm talking about Sebastian.
I'll do my best to be here. I've got a work Christmas thing going on. But I'll do my best to get in for it.
Well, that is more important. Everyone should be. I mean, everyone should be laser focused on the holidays right now. Okay. Absolutely.
Oh, actually, it was quite funny earlier because I was at work when you were talking about summer and Trisha's thing came on and I had my AirPods on and I had to go in the bathroom because they were in the office. They were just looking at me like I fell out the crazy tree. I was laughing so hard I actually had to go in the bathroom so that I could piss myself and laugh at the same time.
She's just such an idiot. And I just cannot believe that people are doing these things in the Facebook groups going, this woman has solved the case. Maybe I won't talk to her. And I'm like, what?
She's the gift that keeps on giving, let's be honest.
And one woman's like, I have followed this from the beginning. And I'm like, if you have followed from the beginning, then you know human.
This is. That was probably Trisha, to be fair.
Goodness. All right, you guys have a great rest of your Monday, if Monday can ever be a great day. And again, let's please thank our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friend, Kat. She's definitely one of my best friends.
Love you.
And remember, domestic violence is not always women. So on a serious note, let's please look at this. If I could, I would send that to Sarah, but unfortunately she wouldn't care. She would just write another letter to the judge. All right, my friends, I'm out. I've taken up a lot of your time today, and I have a feeling it's going to happen a lot this week because we have a lot to talk about. But you guys are the best. I'm not just saying it. I mean it. If you weren't, well, you've hurt my behavior when people aren't the best. Okay? All right. Love you. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central.